last time that I was in this parking garage, we were actually on our way to an Outback Steakhouse road trip, which is a video that you can watch on the internet, unfortunately. Welcome to Miami.
Bienvenido, Ami.
One thing, if you do plan to travel a lot, is to get preferred status from the car rental agencies. I think Avis Preferred, you don't even really have to rent that many cars from them, but you just walk straight to your car and you get in your car and you drive away. You don't have to wait at a rental counter or anything like that. It's all just done on your app and they tell you what spot your car's in. So pro travel tip, I guess, to get this day started. Let's go to the beach. All right, here in Florida, I'm gonna talk to you about my autofocus selection. I feel like the lens is fogging up. We're gonna go back inside so that doesn't happen. So my autofocus is actually pretty easy, I would say. I'm always shooting AFC, autofocus continuous. I'll put up whatever that means in Canon terms. I'm a Nikon shooter. The only exception to that is when I am actually shooting AFS, which is sometimes during dances when the light gets really low. I have AFS set to activate my flash beacon. So if I'm shooting AFC, there's no red dots coming out of my flash. AFS, there is a red dot. So sometimes I need that, and I like to be able to switch really quickly because sometimes during dances you need kind of that flexibility. Other than that, my process is very simple. We're gonna get to an on-camera video here. I don't use any of the 3D tracking modes or anything fancy. I just use single point, so I'm in complete control, full manual settings all day, manual shutter, aperture, ISO. And I typically have that point up here because that means that when I switch my camera to portrait mode, that point rotates to kind of the top right-hand corner up here, and I'm able to have that right over top of somebody's face immediately. And for the most part, I'm photographing people all day, so that's kind of where it stays. I don't use back button focus. I just use on trigger shutter activation focus, and I lock with the autofocus lock button on the back if I need to. Otherwise, the point is usually on their face and it's usually AFC, so if they're moving a little bit, it's tracking those micro adjustments with them. I should also mention there are only a few days left to get $50 off my advanced wedding photography marketing course until my birthday, which is Saturday. Balloons and balloons. All right, that's all. We'll get to the on-camera video. Here's a natural blur transition. Nature's Gaussian blur. Gyoza? I'm going to run you through the situations that I would typically be using AFC in, and because I use it in these situations, I leave it on as much as I possibly can. I've run into some situations leaving wedding days and doing an engagement session the next morning that I'll still be in AFS mode, and I notice that everything is just like a little touch out of focus here and there. But if I was always in AFC mode, that would never be a problem. So during ceremonies, when the couple is walking down the aisle at you, when people are entering, which will be the next clip here, it is super important to be in autofocus continuous, and I just have the autofocus point right over one of their faces. In this situation here, I'm shooting both photo and video. When I'm shooting video on Nikon, I'm never using autofocus. It can't be trusted because it's contrast based. If you're shooting Sony, absolutely use autofocus, but Canon and Nikon, I would be weary to do it in such a high stakes setting. Another thing that I'm going to point out is that I am using the higher end Nikon camera bodies. I used a D5 for a few years, and when the 850 came out, I switched to that for essentially for the flippy screen. It is something that's super helpful for doing video, and I have 100% trust in this camera body for autofocus, and I have 100% trust in this 70-200 FL lens, and that's why you see me using it at the most important moments whenever possible. Well, I do prefer the look of a 58 or an 85 1.4 or even a 50mm 1.4. Unfortunately, during a ceremony, I need something that is versatile because you never really know what's going to happen, and especially when you're shooting both photo and video coverage, you have to be super extra versatile, I guess. So find a kit that you 100% trust. Make sure you know exactly how it functions in all situations before you take it to a wedding and do it in such an important time. Right now I'm recording a video and I'm switching to photography now with the AF point right over Steph's face in that upper corner, and as I flip back, the autofocus point stays right on her face with that movement. So that's it, AFC, single point autofocus, and just tracking over with the D-pad, moving your point around all day. That's how I do it. Is this the 100% correct way to do it? I don't know. It's been what I've been doing for a bunch of years, and I'm super comfortable with it, and I can 100% rely on this system. So those are my thoughts for today. Hope that you enjoyed watching, and I will see you tomorrow. It's Brittany, bitch. Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others all around the world, and you'll be launching the largest aerial battle known to mankind. Mankind, That word should have new meaning for us all today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for a right to live, to exist. And should we win today, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.